All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the ServeManager Pro Series Advanced Accounting Features. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but we added a lot of new things to our accounting portion of ServeManager, so we thought it was about time that we start up the Pro Series again. I am Trent Carlisle, co-founder of Logical, which is the company behind ServeManager, and I am here today with our development and support team. Most of you have probably spoken with Jose at some point, but at the end of the webinar today, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of our development team on all ServeManager related features and functionality. In a moment, Jeremy, who is in charge of user experience and design, will be leading us through the demo portion of the webinar, which will last about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on questions. Some things that we're going to be covering today will include emailing of statements, applying payments to statements, Stripe, which is receiving credit cards for invoices and statements, and a very recent addition, which is adding taxes to invoices. We'll also be going over some of the existing features in accounting and ServeManager, products and terms per company, mass actions, applying payments, issuing new statements, account aging, and possibly some payroll tips if time permits. One thing that is semi-related to the webinar today, and I won't be spending too much time on it, is our recent inclusion in Zapier. If you're not familiar with Zapier, the easiest way to describe it would be a service that connects two software applications together, allows them to talk together and automate tasks back and forth. It removes the need in a lot of cases for custom development to make the tools that you use every day talk to one another. A number of the integrations we have announced to our customers recently are facilitated by Zapier, and some of those of note are adding ServeManager due dates to a Google Calendar. When a new customer is added to ServeManager, that customer also gets added to MailChimp or Constant Contact, or any email marketing tool that you might be using. So you can instantly add their email address for future marketing campaigns. Scanned documents that are in a Dropbox or Google Drive folder automatically get added to the right job in ServeManager. Obviously, these have nothing to do with the accounting that we're talking about today, but there are some accounting tools in Zapier that you could possibly get some pretty basic zaps up and running. So if you're using FreshBooks or Xero or QuickBooks Online, or any of the other dozens of accounting apps that are probably out there, go ahead. And the easiest way is to kind of kick the tires on this is to go to Zapier.com and set up an account. If you have any questions, certainly give us a call or shoot us an email and we can help you out. There will be a more official announcement and more details on what you can currently do with Zapier, some of the templates that we have set up in the weeks to come. So along the way, feel free to ask questions. You'll ask questions via the questions module in the GoToWebinar widget. So all questions will be written. I will see those, and you can certainly ask any questions along the way related to the content of the demo/webinar today. And then again, at the end, you'll have the opportunity to pretty much ask us anything about the software, and we'll stay on for at least until 4:30 our time. We're Mountain. And with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy. Jeremy, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Trent. All right. So let's get started here. the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at our invoice settings. So under My Account, I'll click on the Settings tab, and then I'll scroll down to the Invoicing section. So down here we've got a few settings. That first checkbox there, that will actually enable automatic invoices when you create a new job. So if you're going to be using invoices, you probably want that checked so that you don't have to manually create invoices for each new job. The next setting is to enable taxes. Most of you probably don't need that setting, but there are a few states that require it for different things. If you're in California, you might need taxes on your invoices. For this demo, I'm going to leave that checked. By default, though, that box is not checked, so you can just leave that alone if you don't need taxes. Products here, I'll come back to that in a minute. Terms of payment, so this will actually appear at the bottom of the invoice. So if you want to update this, you can update that text right here. In a little bit, I'll show you how you can actually manage that per company. So if you want, for a specific company, if you want different terms to appear at the bottom of the invoice, you can do that as well. Scrolling down here, online payments. So by using ServeManager Payments powered by Stripe, you can actually take payments from your customers using our invoices online. So we'll take a look at that too. If that's something you can sign up for right here. And once you get signed up, your customers will be able to pay you online using Stripe. All right. So let's go ahead. Well, actually, I guess let me go back to products really quick before we move on. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click on Manage here. And this allows me to view and create products. So let's go ahead and take a look at one that I've already created here. So for example, routine service fee. So you can enter a title or a name for your product there. And these are the services that you offer. And these are something you're going to be able to insert on invoices. You can enter a description for that product and, of course, a cost as well. And then if there is a tax associated with that product or service, you can enter that there. At the bottom here, there's a checkbox that says Set as Default Product on New Invoices. So a lot of you won't need that setting, but where it comes in handy is if you have a fee or a service that you actually charge, everyone, then you can actually check that box, and every new invoice that's created will automatically have that product on it. Or for example, if you charge people a certain thing maybe 70% of the time, you could check that, and then instead of having to add it all the time, you could just remove it when you don't need it on the invoice. But that box is optional there. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this for the moment. And now let's go take a look at one of our invoices. All right, so here's our jobs menu. And I want to find a job that's been served and has a draft invoice. Okay. So we'll click on that job. I'll scroll down here on the right-hand side and open that invoice. Okay, so here's a draft invoice. You'll notice the balance due here is 0. So let's go ahead and edit that. Now, in these fields here, I can manually enter information for a line item. Or I can click on Insert Product, and you'll see these are those products that we were looking at a minute ago. I can select those. So I've got routine service fee, I've got a rush service add-on fee, and then I'm going to select printed copies also, and I'll insert those on the invoice. All right. So for example, this printed copies line item here, you'll notice it's 20 cents. So let's change the quantity there to 50, and you'll see it updated my total over here. And since this is a taxable item, it shows the taxes for that line item as well. All right, now that we're done editing that invoice, we'll go ahead and save it. Now it's still a draft. By using issue up here, we can actually start the aging process, and it'll set the issue date as today. So when I click on issue, I get a few options. If I select issue only, it just sets the issue date. If I select issue and print, it's going to generate a PDF that I can print out. Now, one thing to note with the PDFs is that you can actually print those and then fold it just right so that it fits into a standard double window envelope, and the mailing address and the return address will appear in those windows. You can also issue an email. So I'm going to click on that option. Now it's prompting me to email my client, and you can see my client is already checked here. And if I want, I can update that email message, and then I can email this invoice off to my client. Now, if I'm taking advantage of the Stripe payment option, this is what my client will see. They're going to get a link to the invoice. They'll be able to click on that Pay with Card button, and then they can enter their credit card details and pay me online. Now, if I'm not using Stripe, or if my client sent me a check, I can also manually apply payments to the invoice as well. You'll notice when I click on that, it's already got the amount due here. So all I have to do is click Apply Payment. I guess I could also enter the check number there for future reference and then apply that payment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the invoice here. And let's go take a look at the Companies menu. And I'm going to select Acme Law Firm here, and then I'm going to edit this company. Now if I scroll down to the bottom, here I'm going to see some invoice settings that are specific to this company. So if I've got terms of payment that are specific to this company, I can actually enter that here, and then it'll override my default terms of payment whenever I create an invoice for this client. Same thing down here with the products. For example, maybe I charge Acme Law Firm $5 less than everyone else, but I don't want to remember that. I don't want to make that mistake. So I check that box there, and when I create new invoices for Acme Law Firm, it'll automatically have that routine service fee for $45 on their invoice. All right, I'm going to cancel that for the moment. Now we're still looking at Acme Law Firm. I'm going to click over to the Invoices tab. And you'll see here we've got an aging summary for Acme Law Firm at the top. And that'll kind of give you a sense of whether or not this account is past due or current. As I scroll down, now I'm looking at all of their invoices, and I can filter them here as well. Once I've got the invoices filtered, then I can select invoices, and then I've got a few options I can select from as well. So you can see we can apply payments here, I could issue these invoices, or I can create a new statement. So I'm going to go ahead and click on New Statement, and it's just telling me here how many invoices I've got selected and the total amount. So I'm going to create that statement. Statements are very similar to invoices, and there's a couple of exceptions here. You'll notice this is a draft at the moment, and that's because if we look down here, you'll see that there are some of the invoices that are already issued and some that are saved as drafts. So at the top here, I can actually issue all of these at the same time. So by clicking on Issue All, it's going to issue the remaining draft invoices. So now that they're all issued, I've got another option up here. I can apply the payment. So by applying the payment here, it works just like invoices, and you can apply that total amount due as well. right, let's go ahead and close that for the moment. Actually, so there was one other option up here that I forgot to go over. So the thing I wanted to point out was the email option. So you can also email statements to your clients just like invoices. And again, if you're using the Stripe option, your clients are going to get the statement and they'll be able to pay you online for that statement. All right, I'm going to close out that statement and let's jump over to our court cases menu. So under court cases, I'll select a case, and then this is another area where I can manage invoices. I'll click on the Invoices tab, and if I've got a court case with multiple serves, then I'm probably going to have multiple invoices as well. And I can come over here and select those invoices, and I've got the same options here. I can apply payment to those invoices, I can issue them, and I can create a statement for those invoices. All right, let's take a look at the accounting menu now. So under accounting, I've got a list of all of my invoices here. And of course, there's our filters here at the top. So if you needed to get something for tax purposes, you could use your date range filter here and maybe select something like paid in full, select a date range, and then you could actually export this to a spreadsheet. And that's something you could probably give to your accountant or possibly import into your accounting software for tax purposes. There's also the Statements tab up here, and here we've got all of our saved statements. So anything that I've generated previously, I can view that again. There's the Account Aging tab. So at the top here is an account aging summary for all of my clients. And then if I scroll down, it's actually broken out by client. So this is handy if you want to see which clients are past due, and you may need to be giving those people a call or cutting them off or, that kind of thing. All right, the last thing I want to take a look at is our overview page. So the overview page shows you a few different things here. At the top, there's a couple rows, and this information is pretty much related to jobs, service attempts, and things like that. But the last two rows down here are related to accounting. So here you've got a snapshot. You can kind of see what's going on today, what happened yesterday. You can even compare how much money that you brought in last year versus the current year. All right, I think that's all I've got for now. We'll open it up for any questions related to the accounting stuff.
Okay. Yeah, this was a relatively quick one. Stripe was definitely something, and statements were features that we wanted to highlight, as well as let everyone know in the places where you need to apply sales tax, that is available as well. If you have any questions about what Jeremy went through, feel free to ask questions about those using the questions widget, which should be there on your GoToWebinar control panel. And feel free to ask away about anything really that you have on the product in general. As I mentioned earlier, there'll be more information going out about Zapier and sort of the integrations and things that you can do with that in the next couple weeks or so. So feel free to sign up for a Zapier account, kick the tires on that. We're going to go ahead and hang tight for just a minute or two. I don't see any questions coming through right now. If you have any after we sign off today, you can feel free to give us a call or shoot Jose an email at help@servemanager.com.